What's up? My name's Pest. Some people know me as Zalazar now on 136. I'll be explaining the fundamentals of gear progression on the server. This will be a one take, so some of these parts may be really rough. I'll try and add videos, images, and notes on the screen to keep you on track on what I'm trying to explain. English isn't my first language, so there may be some fuck-ups along the way. Keep that in mind. Either way, when you're first starting out, you'll be starting in the starting area. You'll start with a box of goods. This will contain some general wares, including the starter gear that's available for about 31 days. The starter gear isn't as important anymore because of the introduction of Token of Glory. Token of Glory are earned through reaching level 30, completing your 29 cultivation, reaching level 60, completing your 59 cultivation, and reaching level 90, completing your 89 cultivation. The forges for these are located in Southwest Arch, where you can craft your level 30, 60, 90 gear, ornaments, and weapons. These are mainly what you're going to be using whilst leveling. So as soon as you've completed your 29 culti and reach level 30, you can move on to better gear, so to speak. As for actual leveling, what you'll be doing starting out, you'll basically just be hitting mobs and doing your cultivation as it goes. And you'll basically be doing that up until you're around 80, 85 and can get into FC. Unless someone is kind enough to help you with, or like carry you through FC, or you're basically able to purchase Nexus pills from people. Nexus pills gives you EXP, but I guess you could say it's a pay-to-win way of getting stuff by selling gold and getting coin and buying these Nexus pills from players. But for most people, that isn't an option. So you'll be hitting mobs, doing quests up until you're around 85, and then you'll be jumping into FC, trying to get squads for that. Around level 90, I'd recommend technically getting up to about level 100. But you can start doing it earlier. But if you want to jump into TT already at 90, you can start working towards your TT 90 gear. You do not need to do the prerequisite armors on here. You can skip that and go straight for the TT 90 armors. This does not work for ornaments and weapons. For some of those, you'll have to go through the stages. That's similar to the original PWI. There are still options for magic users, stuff like Divine Aegis. You can skip the other level TT or TT level weapons and just go straight for the TT99 that upgrades into Nirvana. There is the alternative of taking the lunar route. Depending on which guild you're in, you may end up getting lunar gear. I'd say getting the lunar gear is a lot harder than the TT gear, so I'd recommend going for the TT gear. One thing to note when you're at the TT99 stage, it is cheaper to 4-socket the items at that stage, or 2-socket it if it's a weapon, than it is to do it at a later stage. So what most people end up doing is they make their TT99 gear, 4-socket it and 2-socket it, and then upgrade it to Nirvana by preserving the socket stones by using Chiakan stones. If you do not do it at TT99 stage, you'll end up paying roughly around 3 to 4 times the amount in just pure socket stones to get the maximum amount of socket stones. Sockets are really important on the server because you really lack HP, etc. because refines aren't as high on average as you might be useful or used to from other servers. So I'd highly recommend 4-socketing and 2-socketing your weapons and armors before upgrading it and preserving it with Chiakans when upgrading. So the gear progression goes from free gear, TT90 gear, TT99 gear, into Nirvana gear. As for ornaments, you either want to pick it up through molds or FC alternatives. Shards, you'll be gaining shards through, or early on you'll be gaining shards through just doing tabs. Tabs through cultivation give EG, shards, reputation, so it's very lucrative for higher level players to help out. Do note that some of the lower FPs are not really worth doing the tabs for. They just don't provide high enough of a reward. It's around 79 to 89 culties that people are really gonna come, because they give packs as well for everyone that does it. Moving on to things that are good to note. Cube necklaces are some of the in-game necklaces that are used. You have to get them through Cube or through packs. Most people get them through Cube. You get 2 cogs for completing the 60 room, or all the way up to 60. And you need 30 for the base one, and then 9 of the base ones to make the end game one. Warsong belts are something that people will be looking towards the end game. They're earned through just doing Warsong, basically. During 2x, you can expect about 1 belt for 1 run. Around 40 to 50 inscriptions. It's 50 inscriptions for 1 base Warsong belt. Most people don't do Warsong outside of 2x because the drops isn't enough, basically. It's not worth the effort to some. Lunar rings can be farmed. Usually people try and go for these after they've gotten their Nirvana gear, or sometime during the time when they're getting their Nirvana gear. These can be upgraded into Cloudsters and Sky Covers through Seals of War, which are through supply tokens, where you can also get Teakins, Tishas, which are used for refining, as well as Chiakins and Socket Stones and so on. As for refining, with the most recent patch, you can now earn orbs through just doing base quests, assuming that your faction is upgrading the vault in the faction base. You're able to take out some of the higher level orbs through there. If your faction base is, or if your faction has upgraded the vault up to level 8, you'll be able to get plus 10 orbs from there. Do note that these require quite a lot of merit or contribution, I'm not sure which, to be able to purchase, so you're gonna have to keep up with your base quests in order to actually be able to purchase these. But it's a safe way of earning refines if you're patient enough. We're currently at, I believe, level 6 vault, which earns us level 8, so we're able to purchase level 8 orbs from the faction base, as well as shards, etc. I wouldn't recommend getting the shards though. That's too expensive for minimal gain. Shards and other stuff are earned through mysterious chips mainly. Mysterious chips can be exchanged for War Soul tags at the Mysterious Merchant. There's the 3 mysterious chips for, I think it's 1 War Soul tag. Let's find out. Yeah, 1 War Soul tag. 30 for 10, and then 300 for 100. These can then be exchanged at the tournament NPC for level 12 shards. The level 12 shards is what most people will be going for. Going for Vitch stones is, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's going to be rough. You are able to earn it through the level 8 vault, but once again, it's going to be a lot of contribution and merit. it's still going to be very hard, and there isn't enough of a supply for people to actually get the Vid stones. When you're getting the TT99 gear, what most people end up doing is they'll be chipping the gold mats. Assuming you don't want to grind your ass off in TT to try and get the gold mats to drop, there is the option of going to the Mysterious Merchant with enough chips to craft the different gold mats that you need for the TT gear. As for how to get mysterious chips, you'll mainly get them through doing the trivia that is active, I think, every hour or every other hour for about 15 minutes. They've shortened it down, so I think it's only 3 or 5 questions now to get the rewards. That's a great way of doing it. Doing your Crazy Stone World Quest will reward you with, alongside the EXP, will also reward you with reputation and mysterious chips. Cube is another way of getting a lot of chips. Also, just opening packs for supply tokens is another option. I think the only good thing that you technically do want to get with chips or with supply tokens is chips or the mystical toad pages, depending on QB prices on the auction house. It may or may not be worth getting it. Most people just end up getting chips with their supply tokens. As for tomes, you'll need mystical pages, or not mystical pages, what's it called? Is it called Fragments? Double check. Once again, this is a one take, so this is what it is. Alright, so mystical tome fragments, you get a couple of them from doing cube. You can also get them from doing maps. Specifically, I believe it's level 4 maps that give these. You'll be getting cicada daggers, and cicada daggers you can turn into a specific mat, which then turns into mystical tome fragments. That's mainly how people get these. Mystical tome pages, as you saw before, you can get them through supply tokens, or you can get them through the boutique. Either through QB or through event gold. And once again, event gold you get through various activities, but one of the main ones is helping people with tabs or doing your weekly tabs. Every week, once you've reached level 100, you get 3 weekly tabs, which for the FB89 culti, most people end up doing these in a party of 6, meaning you do the instance 6 times, get tabs for each run, and you'll get a bunch of packs and EG from it. And to get the weekly tabs, you just go to the normal BH NPC and pick it up from there. Most people like to run Eden because it's simply just easier than Brim. I've got Eden now, but if I were to, these are the weekly tabs. If I were to want to get the tabs for Brimstone, then I can simply go to one of the cultivation NPCs and just exchange it for Brimstone. And now I've got Brimstone. But most people end up running Eden. As for events, there's a bunch of events. I'd say almost every single one is worth doing. They'll reward you with EG and packs and mirages and other useful stuff that you'll need, including Node War, which is 3 times a week for your supply tokens, which supplies you with refines and whatnot early on. I do want to note, making currency early on is usually fairly hard. Cube is I'd say it's an entryway of earning some initial currency within the game. Selling the cogs, sure, you can make an argument for saving the cogs for your own cube neck, but selling them early on and getting some gold mats or something like that may be more beneficial early on. There are alternatives as farming the level 109 FB that you don't actually need to do for your cultivation for some reason. I don't know why, but that's a good way of earning coin early on. I know the drops, or the pure coin drop in there, is fairly high. They also reward you with reputation, as well as some channeling necklaces that sell for quite a bit, depending on how cluttered the market is. Using the auction house, you'll also be able to pick up some books, early level gear. Usually people are selling a bunch of stuff. It all depends on what you want and what you need. One thing you want to note when upgrading gear in general is to get your tailoring and blacksmithing. When you've upgraded, or when you've made your TT99 gear, you may want to use it right away. Most people do. But in order to upgrade it to Nirvana, you're gonna need tailoring level 6. Which means if you equip your TT99 gear, they'll be bound, so you won't be able to trade it to someone else to upgrade your gear, which means you need to get tailoring or blacksmithing. Tailoring or blacksmithing, I mean, I'm sure you can get it without buying it from the boutique, but I don't think anyone's actually going to do that. So what most people end up doing is they either save up enough EG to buy the blacksmithing, tailoring, and craftsman and apothecary, or they buy it through the QB store, either by buying gold off the auction house or donating. Another option, guilds have the guild bonus or guild promotion that they can claim for new people. That will provide you with a bunch of perfect coins. These perfect coins are usually made. I'd recommend most people to use their perfect coins for tailoring and blacksmithing early on, and also picking up a flyer and a mount. That would be my recommendation for your use for your perfect coins from the guild promo. Talk to your leader. Depending on the guild size, you're going to get different amounts. This can only be claimed once, so make the most of it. I've went through tomes, blah, 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 Nirvana gear. I feel like I've kind of went through everything except for treasure maps. Treasure maps, you heard me talk about the cicada daggers that you get from level 4 maps. Treasure maps are unlocked at level 90 by completing 200 quests and picking up a quest from the Sharp Spear NPC. It can be found at different locations. 2 of them would be West ADC and South ADC. You go to the NPC and you get a level 1 map. You can then activate the level 1 map and go find it on the map. That will trigger a chest. Once you dig the chest, it will spawn a few mobs. You kill them, you get coin, and you have a chance of getting higher level maps. What most people end up doing is they save them for the double drops that happen every 4 weeks for a chance of getting multiple higher tier maps. It's a really good way of earning money early on, but be aware, PvP is enabled 24/7 after you reach level 30. There is no way of going blue name, so I mean, do maps at your own risk. You may get PvP'd or PK'd. As for getting your 79 skills, you can either do it through supply tokens, or not supply tokens, tokens of luck, and going to the boutique agent and simply picking up the apocalypse pages through that, or they can be farmed through the 89 dungeons. Chrono pages for your level 100 skills are mainly obtained through world bosses. World bosses drop a variety of items, including chrono pages, but they are highly contested because the drops are fairly lucrative and they're quite challenging to do. at least early on. As for books in general, most of them are farmed through dungeons. Some of them you can't farm through dungeons. Some of them you have to farm mysterious pages through doing level 89 culties, or the Eden or Brimstone. You also have the option of trading chips for it. This is going to be a very expensive way of doing it, but I mean, depends on how badly you want the skills, I guess. Pages of Faith are earned through Cube. They can be used to make some of the higher level skills, Demon or Sage, at the 1k forges. Let's see here. 30 of them for one skill book. You get a random one. There are some skill books which are fairly hard to get. Those are mainly going to consist of old book pages. For EPs, it's usually Purify. Wizards, it's Distance Shrink or something like that. Old book pages are earned through doing Cube, getting the banknotes from the level 50 to 60 room, or you can also swap them for War Soul tags at the tournament NPC, or not the tournament NPC, the Thursday night fights merchant. I don't know, that's a dumbass name for it. Whatever. 3 War Soul tags for 1 old book page, meaning 30 chips for 1 old book page. It's going to be very expensive. Maybe luck is on your side. The other option is bidding on the auction if it's up there, or just straight out buying it from a different player. I feel like I've been talking now for a very long time, so I'm just going to cut it short here, I think. I think I'll finish off with Charms. Charms is probably the highest defense you have on here, which is kind of weird to say. You're going to need level 8 Apothecary, and you're going to want to have perfect stones in order to craft them. Basically, just go into hell. You can craft your attack charms and your defense charms in here. You do not want to use your perfect stones for anything other than defense charms and attack charms. If you're struggling with getting food for your genie or for your flyer, don't worry. Open up your shop from your inventory. Buy the... I'm not going to... These stones. What the fuck these things are called. There you go. Buy 4,000 of them or 4 million, whatever your heart desires, and fill up your genie. That's the cheap way of doing it. The shop also offers you charms, reset notes, resurrections scrolls, and do all cards for cubes, along with a lot of other stuff as wines, etc. They also have an option of you getting the inventory extension stones and the safe extension stones, which are used for extending your inventory. You can further extend your inventory by getting the mega, I think it's called mega inventory stone. There is also the quest expansion stone if you want that, but yeah. Alright, I'm done talking. I hope this is somewhat useful for some people. If it isn't, fuck off. I tried. Bye-bye.